live. Thursday, May 8th. I think we're 119 days away from NFL kickoff. So 4 months away. We are 4 months away. And I feel like this is the time of year that's like the slowest once we get past all the rookie hype news that's going to come out or guys that can't breathe properly or whatever. So Kevin's here with us. Yeah, we're going to talk about our rookie draft, that slow rookie draft that completed, what was it, yesterday? So we're going to kind of review that a little bit, answer questions, talk about, we got Pete here, talk about, I don't know, the news. We need to talk about the Pickens, a couple things that happened. The George Pickens news, Dallas Goedert got re-signed. Crap, there was something else I had and I forgot.
I
Maybe
have
you guys will know.
I have some Rodgers information.
But that he might not be going
No,
to the
that they didn't sign him now, so they wouldn't get all the, you know how it is, like, oh, this guy isn't coming to mini camp and blah blah blah. So I mean, that's kind of like the idea is like they didn't sign him now, or he didn't sign now. You know, he still wants to go smoke a bowl in a teepee somewhere or do whatever, you know.
Don't we all?
I guess.
Don't you find
the Pickens move a little head scratching though? If you are bringing Rodgers in, like you have a 1-year window, like why trade away maybe your second best weapon on the team? I don't know. It felt a little. Yeah, he's just trying to skip mini camps. It felt a little strange to me. I don't know. The minority owner came out.
They're going to bring in Lazard. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
we've been talking about Alan Lazard for years and him.
Yeah, you can't ignore Roman Wilson from last year either. Second round pick.
Third round, but I agree with Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also can't count on him. Like,
yeah,
it's a little bit of a stretch to say we're going into the season with DK Metcalf, Alan Lazard, and Roman Wilson. And for a team, like, why are you bringing Rodgers in? You're bringing Rodgers in to Super Bowl.
What's the other small, fast guy? Austin?
Calvin Austin's there. I mean, they got weapons. Like,
well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, Rodgers came from the Jets where they only had one receiver also, so.
Well, they had Adams and, halfway through or whatever.
Adams and Wilson.
Yeah, later.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But I also did hear that there's a good chance they bring in like Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson because Packers drafted 2 receivers in round 1 and round 3. And, there's a little bit of a log jam there. So I don't know. I thought it was a little weird. And the minority owner came out. One of the minority owners came out and was like, oh, he's more confusing than artificial intelligence or something like that. I don't know if they wanted him to come out and say that. Like, I'm sure he's getting reprimanded a little bit, but I don't know. It's all weird, man. Like, it's all weird.
Who's more confusing, Rodgers? Yeah.
Yeah, the minority owner came out and said, like, Aaron Rodgers is more confusing than artificial intelligence. He went on like some news network and said that. So Steelers minority owner compares Aaron Rodgers' situation to AI. It's more complex than artificial intelligence. So it's just, I don't know. It's all
how
weird
old
there.
is this guy?
He's old, I think. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire or billionaire or something, I assume. So I just assume he's old. I guess I shouldn't, though. But anyways, I kind of like the move for everyone, though, fantasy-wise. Like, I guess the only players I would be, like, if you were expecting a Jalen Tolbert, Ryan Flournoy breakout season, wide receiver 2 for the Cowboys, then you're bummed. But, like, I think it's good for Pickens. I think it's better for Pickens. I don't think it's, like, a huge step up, but I think it's better. I like it for CeeDee Lamb because we don't really talk about this a lot with receivers, but kind of like how we talk about with running backs, like, we kind of don't want them having 90% of the snaps and 90% of the carries. Like, I think that's one of the reasons, like, Lamb got hurt last year. He was the only guy, and he was double teamed the entire time. So, like, it gives him, someone to help him out. It's good for Dak. I think it's obviously good for Metcalf if Rodgers goes there. I think he could have a huge year. So,
You forgot to throw in, like Genty signed a contract. I can't remember a top 5, top 10 pick signing in May. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that used to be drama before they like had the rookie wage scale 15 years ago now. Like it used to be actual like, oh shit, this guy hasn't signed yet, like because they actually were, they could negotiate. Essentially now everyone kind of knows what they're gonna make type of thing. So
or when dumb shit Bosa held out,
Yeah.
It was
John here says he'd be surprised. Go ahead.
I'd be surprised if the Packers trade away Dobbs. Love.
Yeah, I know they love him. Yeah. We don't love him though. No.
He's got to be going into the last year of his deal, right?
Who, Dobbs?
Maybe.
Yeah.
His first year was Rodgers' last year.
Yeah, so he's played 3, so it's his last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they did. And yeah, I don't know if he's out for the year. We've seen people come back, running backs and stuff. He's definitely going to miss the first month or so, but and he might not be the same this year. But yeah, I mean, I think I think it's interesting and obviously for the Steelers, auxiliary pieces of Freiermuth, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, Robert Woods is there if you care about that. It's obviously good for those guys or Lazard or whoever comes over. Goddard signed a contract. We've been talking about since I think we started this channel, which is over 3 years now. We've been talking about Goddard, really just 2 years. We've really gotten into it, but talking about Goddard is like, why is he always disrespected? Like, dude always puts up top 12 seasons per game at least. I know he gets hurt. That's the reason people are kind of over it, but it's like, here's the keep trade cut rankings here. Dallas Goddard is tight end 23. I just think that's crazy. I don't know. Maybe that's my opinion and I'm wrong there, but I know we've kind of agreed on that, Brian. It's just like,
yeah, he'll move up 6 spots now that he restructured. Just give it, a month.
Did he?
Yeah.
They didn't draft a replacement, did they? I don't think so.
No. And we got to stop doing this. Like, we all just like, we try to will teams and like trading and cutting guys because we love, it's going to be great for the player behind. Mark Andrews is one that comes to mind. Like, they're going to trade him. There was so much smoke behind, like, now I'm probably going to look like an idiot. It's going to come out like Andrews tomorrow gets traded. But, it's just like the team really. What?
You didn't say the date. Maybe you did.
Oh, yeah. No, I think I did. I did. Yeah, I did. I make sure to do that now. But yeah, like, it's just like we try to will it. It's like, oh, we love Likely. They're going to trade in. It's like, why? This team's trying to win a Super Bowl, Like, they're trying to win a Super Bowl. Why would they trade Mark Andrews? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I felt the same about, like, Goddard. It's like, this team just won a Super Bowl. They've been to 2 in the last 3 years or whatever. Like, why? Why would they get rid of Goddard, who's kind of really important to that offense, whether we like it or not, So,
well, you thought Justin Tucker was untouchable.
Well, yeah, it was until he started touching other people. So, like,
yeah, like 10, 12 years ago or something, and then somebody suddenly remembers.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into that, but he's obviously
either.
I mean, he obviously did some things he shouldn't have done. So, and he's
Probably.
gone, and there goes his legacy as maybe the greatest kicker ever. So, let's get to some of these Jonathan Brooks out for the year. So
yeah,
that's already confirmed. I think we expected that, but he's that's a dead asset basically, unfortunately. So
Man, he was the highest ranked running back in last year's draft.
Yeah, a lot of people took him over BTJ and McConkey and Worthy and stuff like that because they needed a running back and it wasn't very deep. So, yeah, Steelers always have diva wide receivers, but they always make it work. They always make it work. So maybe that's a testament to Mike Tomlin. Cheesehead says he has here's his team here. He has Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy, Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, Puka, and Marvin Harrison, Amon Ra. His question is go best player available at the 105, and that's generally what I always do, despite what your roster is, for the exact reason what we just said about Jonathan Brooks. A lot of people took him over. No, maybe people thought he was the best player available, but I feel like a lot of people took him because maybe of the positional scarcity of that draft, or they needed a running back and they passed up on a BTJ, and you're kicking yourself. So it's Dynasty. You don't have to set a roster for 119 more days, right? So I always tend to go best player available.
Yeah. How do you feel about? Remember when probably 4 months ago we did the Dynasty price check on Jonathan Taylor? And I think the 105 was the pick we were using as it was either 105 or 106. I don't remember, which is kind of what he was
105.
Yeah. So would you still make that deal? Because we both said Jonathan Taylor over the 105. Now that you see landing spots and everything, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I'd probably still lean Jonathan Taylor. I could go both ways, to be honest.
Yeah,
I always think of when I compare people to picks, I always think of it more as what I would want to get minimum if I'm trading him away, if that makes sense. I know it feels like it should be the one and the same, like what I would give up for him and what I would trade away from him. But yeah, I'm fine with the 105 and still getting Jonathan Taylor.
Depending on how you feel, he's head, then maybe you try and float that deal out to the Taylor manager.
Travion Henderson, that's how because I think Hampton and Genty would be gone before the 105, if that's the way you're looking at it, right?
Well, he's asking. He meant maybe trading back, and this is why I always do tiers, and we're going to talk about a trade I made in this rookie draft and why I made it as well. Is to me, and again, you can have your own tiers, your own opinion, but these guys here from the 104 to the 107 to me are in one tier. So ideally, yes, if I'm at the 104, 105, if I'm ever at the top of a tier, I tend to want to trade back if I can. So yeah, if I can get to the 107 and pick up more assets, I want to do that. I kind of want to stay in that top 7 unless, I don't know, I guess if it's a tight end premium, you can add Tyler Warren there. Maybe it's the 108 or Colston Loveland and it's the 109. So yeah, I don't mind trading back a little bit. I ideally want to stay in that top 7, but also depends on the offer too. So yeah, always an option. But yeah, I would take best player available. It looked like your team was a little weak on running back. So I would probably, since these guys are all kind of in a tier for me, I would lean Judkins or obviously Henderson if he's there over maybe Ted McMillan.
Yeah, I mean, you can always wait, obviously, until you're on the clock. But that's why I brought up Taylor specifically, not only because we talked about that 4 months ago, and now we have more perspective on who went where and where guys are actually getting drafted, but also the weakness at running back on the team.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the thought there.
Yeah, he was thinking about asking JT for more. I'm not sure which more we're talking about there. That would be
put more in his receiver, so I assume DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you can get that for sure, it'd probably be either Tet, Hunter, Ward there. I mean, Ward to me would be a smash at the 105 if I can get Cam Ward there. The quarterback, the whole idea that this was a weak quarterback class is really pushed down these quarterbacks across these leagues and stuff. Just seeing I just saw Tyler Shuck go at the 311 or something like that. It's like, dude, this guy's gonna start, and you're gonna be able to trade him more for that. Like I don't know. It's just, even Cam Ward and Jackson Dart falling a bit. So, yeah, DJ Moore, he said. So yeah, I'm always best player available at that spot if I can't trade out of it or trade it for a vet or something. Definitely always best player available.
I mean,
let's see what else is here.
His receivers and his tight end are good. Quarterbacks are good enough. In super flex. So, but definitely, if you can shore up that running back spot, you're adding Genty. So I don't.
Yeah. He says, so your thought by doing that is flip another QB or him for later. I'm not sure what you're referencing here. Cheesehead. You talking about for Shuck or someone else? If you're talking about for Shuck, I'm just saying, like, I've been getting him in the third round of like every league whenever he falls, and I know as soon as you'll be able to sell him for more before he even plays a professional NFL game. So Ward, I mean, yeah, maybe you can flip him for more. It depends. I'm not saying to flip Ward for more. Ward is going to fall into that tier of quarterbacks from like QB 8 to 20, honestly. But he'll be at the top of it because he's young, but he's probably going to be in that range of just that big bucket of quarterbacks that don't do much on the ground, kind of do it all through the air type of thing. So, but he'll have the value of being younger. That's why guys like Stroud are at the top of that list, or Caleb or something. So Love, yeah. I mean, Herbert, because he's considered one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'd buy Goddard if he was available, yeah. I mean, he's an easy down tier option. Yeah, Claypool, Wallace, AB, Martavis Bryant, Pickens. Yeah, I mean, Santonio Holmes, was he a head case? I know he caught I can't remember if he was a head case or not, but
how about Deontay?
I don't think he was.
Deontay's kind of become one too, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely become one. Yeah, he's just good. I mean, you look at, it's amazing Goddard's numbers on a team that just doesn't really throw the ball. They really do funnel that offense, their passing game between three guys, which is great. But like even last year, it's like he was tight end 10 in points per game, and that's including a goose egg on his. I don't know what happened that game, if he left early but if this is according to Fantasy Pros, they have a 0 there, so they're not showing that he missed it, and so that's affecting it. I mean, he was still tight end 10, right? So that was week 7. To me, it says he didn't even play in that game, but Fantasy Pros is counting it as a game. Oh no, it was week 6. He played 5% of the snaps. So like, to still be tight end 10 in points per game in a team that hardly even passed the ball, I don't know. I just think it's an easy buy. Is Juju out for 2025? Is he? Is he on this Chiefs still? I don't even know where he's at.
He is on the Chiefs.
He's still on the Chiefs.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. That's some lightning going on.
Yeah, I seen it.
So John, then it keeps flashing.
Maybe it was John, the cops coming to get you or something.
Nah, too high up. John made this trade in the rookie draft in one of his leagues. He traded the 101 for a Dunze 102. Yeah, that's I like that. 27 and a 27 first. Shit, yeah, I'd be all over that.
He's just bragging.
And then he traded the 102 for Kyron and the 109. Like it. And so my 101 became Odunze, Kyron, 109. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened in our league with the Genty trade I made like right before the draft started. And we can kind of jump into that. But yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. We'll do we'll kind of get to them. Questions, comments. If you're on the clock or anything, need advice about picks and stuff like that. Sorry, I was just reading Cheeseheads. Yeah, any comments on the clock, trade, stuff like that, drop them in there. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I think we're getting closer and closer to 1,300. I think we're about 30, 35 away from there, which is awesome. Join our Discord if you're not in our Discord. We do giveaways. We do listener leagues. Ask your questions there at any time of the day. And if you feel like supporting us at all, there's an option of there's two options here on YouTube. Super chat. We'll read your question. We'll do a lot of things for super chat now, but we'll get to it kind of right away. You'll jump the queue or whatever, and then you got a squeaky chair. And then also, so you got a really squeaky chair.
Yeah, I know. It gets complained about a lot.
And then the other way is to become a member. You can become a member, and you get like a little. I think you get some I need to set that up better, but you get some like different emojis and a badge and all that stuff. So all that stuff is in there. But traded back from the 109, the 112. And still got a Buka. Yeah. It's all about tiers and trading back. It just makes it so much easier. So let me open up our draft here that we just completed yesterday. It was a fun one. A lot of trades. Now you're going to see a lot of You're going to see a lot of not this many trades happen. It's because we did it in a startup, and so I had to swap everyone's picks. And I don't even remember all the trades, to be completely honest. But we'll kind of go through here. And this is from our Poseidon Listener League. So this is a 12-team start 12. So it's very deep. 12 teams start 12. PPR, 1.25 tight end premium. So tight ends are getting 2.25 per reception. I think that's all the, 6 points for passing touchdown. 1 point for every 20 passing yards. So, but the biggest takeaway is that it's a very deep starting roster. So I started this off with just the 101 and 105. And then I turned the 101 into I was offered by Sniper, the 104 and the 109. And I basically said, I need 3 pieces for Genty. Yeah. And I just saw this, that I have 27 first. That's insane. And I just wanted to bring that up from John. It's supposed to be a good in another league.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I basically said I need 3 elite pieces for him, and then he came back and offered the 108 as well. So I took it. Traded Genty for again the 104, 108, 109. Eventually became basically I traded Genty for AJ Brown, a 26 first, Genty and a 26 second for AJ Brown, a 26 first, Judkins, and Golden. I think that's everything that kind of came out of that Genty trade. So I'm pretty happy with that in the start 12. And then I got Henderson at the 105. Again, Judkins at the 108. Traded back from the 109 to the 201. That's how I got the from John. Actually, we were talking, and I got a 26 first. I gave up my 26 second, got a 26 first. Also gave up my 3rd round in this draft. And I had a big tier there from like basically 109, I think, to 202. So I really wanted to trade back because I was at the top there. And so it's kind of how my draft went. I don't know if you guys have any comments or anything on it. Add AJ Brown into this as well, because I did get him for the 104.
Yeah, no, I think that was the trade for Genty was great. It's always hard to find. You got to find that person who's got the capital and who's willing to trade it. And that's got to be their guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I especially liked the 104 and the second for AJ Brown, or no, a 3rd.
Yeah, 3rd. Originally, it was a straight up 104 for AJ Brown, which I don't want to tell my secrets too much. I actually probably would have taken, but I thought, and this is what you got to do as dynasty managers and stuff like that. So Peasley, if you're watching, and I was like, let's see if I can squeeze in the 3rd round pick for it, just see what happens. And he accepted it. And so I think I would have done it. I think I have AJ Brown right around the 103 personally, but again, that's more for like what I would want to get for him maybe not necessarily what I would give up for him type of thing. But I was fine with the 104 and then that third. I don't know. Well, I know you guys are much more like, you like the vets, you see the production type of thing versus the rookies. Like, what do you think about essentially? I probably would have taken Travion Henderson, so I still did get him. I think I would have gone Travion Henderson and Travis Hunter, or Travis Hunter, Travion Henderson. So essentially, I traded AJ Brown for Travis Hunter. Like, what do you guys think about that? Would you want to reset it with AJ Brown, or would you, with Travis Hunter, or would you just take the, proven guy in AJ Brown?
Yeah, I would take AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. He's not old. He's not falling apart. He's still a big part of the Eagles' offense. And the passing game and stuff like that. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what Travis Hunter is going to do, honestly. So
no, but again, we're playing Dynasty here, and so much a part of Dynasty is just like perceived value and inflated value, and like this is kind of a off-topic thing, but like one of the reasons why maybe a big reason potentially why no, I'm not even going to get into it, but I was going to get political for a second, but not political, but just say something. But we're going to hear Travis's
therapists.
No, it didn't. But
okay.
It's just the fact it was going to be that, maybe a part of the reason maybe why Trump won the first time is because he was literally in the news nonstop, right? And so like Travis Hunter is going to be in the news every freaking day if you watch ESPN or NFL, like, oh, he's doing this and that. And so like whether or not like that means he's going to produce or not, it's going to increase its value, right? If Travis Hunter comes out and has a big week 1 with Trevor Lawrence, he's going to skyrocket in value. So like AJ Brown's, he's getting to that age where he's going to have a cap. He's going to have like a Tyreek Hill almost 2,000-yard season in order to get into like that top 7 at the age of 28 or 9. Or he's just going to kind of continue to drop, and people are going to be a little bit hesitant on him because he's getting older and older and blah, blah, blah. So it's where I have hesitation.
Yeah, it's not going to start week 1. It's going to, and me and Brian were just talking about this a couple hours ago. I said, now these mini camps and OTAs, we're going to get the, I really like this guy. He's the best shape possible. And my God, this guy looks great. We're going to start getting that crap. And, that influences us, fantasy people. People who pay attention and going, oh, so-and-so. I remember Romeo Dobbs rookie year and, with Rodgers. And it was like, oh, he's making catches like no one else has and stuff like that. So,
I mean, I saw an update with Jalen Royals that he caught 10 or 11 of his passes. And I think I drafted him right after I read that in one of my rookie slow drafts or something like that. Yeah, it affects you whether you say it doesn't. Sorry, what are you saying, Brian?
It does. I agree.
What were you saying? Were you saying something, Brian?
Oh no, I just said so it worked.
Yeah, it does. I mean, even mock drafts, like we were talking about Xavier Restrepo and someone, it might have been you, Pete, that you spent a decent amount on him and he was an undrafted guy. Why? He has more perceived value than, no one picked up Chimere Dike, right? Who was or maybe someone did, but he was a 4th-round pick to the Titans, but they took the undrafted Restrepo. Why? Well, because Restrepo was consistently mock drafted as a 2nd, 3rd, 4th-round pick. That's really one of the only reasons why. But Arian Smith, 4th-round pick by the Jets, no one's gonna pick him up, right? But it's just because of you can tell a story. Oh, it's Restrepo. He was supposed to be a high pick. He's a crafty guy. He's reuniting with his college quarterback. It's an open wide receiver. There's a story you can tell about Restrepo we don't know the story of Chimray Dike and Arian Smith, right? I don't even know if I'm saying Chimray's first name right, So, you can't really tell a story about him.
Yeah, well, DK went for $205 to Cuddy.
Okay.
The next highest bid was me at 10, so he could have got him for $11.
Okay. Did Arian Smith go? Or
yeah,
Jordan?
I got Arian Smith for $5.
Well, you're just ruining my whole rant there, so thanks. There was Jordan Watkins for the 49ers is another one. I think he was a 4th round pick as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, finish it.
No, I was just, I saw Restrepo get drafted in some NFL orphan leagues and stuff so, the whole idea of just he is going to have, you're going to be able, he has more perceived value than anyone else that there are a lot of other players that got drafted, when he went undrafted. So,
yeah. So what I was going to say about, in a reply to what Dad was saying about these guys were going for a lot of money, right? And I know. Well, I think it was actually before we started, but it is a very deep league, very deep rosters. So I get it. It was either Cuddy or Pete who said, it's I find myself with a lot of fab at the end of the season, and that doesn't do you any good, obviously. So, and plus we've never played with each other, so we don't know how any one person's gonna bid. Like we were just talking about DK, and it's well, you could have got him for $11, but it's there's no way to know that. And my approach when it comes to fab in general, is I remember telling this to my coworker. He played with the Fab League for the first time last year. And I said, well, just think about how much you're willing to spend. And if someone beats you by $1, are you going to be upset? And if the answer is yes, then you need to bid another $1. And then you just keep going up from there, obviously in bigger increments in $1,000 league. But that's kind of the mindset you have to have, and everyone who's in this league should go through, see how much everyone bid on all of these players, where you valued them, and kind of get an idea of how people bid, and just to give yourself some, so at least you can learn something from it, even if you didn't win the guy. I think I had 12 waiver claims in, and I got 2 guys. One of them was Tim Patrick. Yay. At least he was free, but it's
where's he at? Right. Is he still in the Lions?
He's still in the Lions.
They re-signed him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
He's gonna be the best receiver on the Lions.
Yeah.
I'm predicting the breakout.
So. So you took Cam Ward at the 102, and a couple people commented and said oh, I thought that was a little bit of a reach, or how do you take him over Hampton? I personally have them in the same tier, 2-3. So what were your thoughts about Cam Ward there?
Yeah, definitely going into it, I was all right, Hampton's probably the dude, but because I could definitely use another running back. Who couldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess looking at everyone else's rosters, there's some pretty QB needy teams, and I already have a glut of them. With the upside of Justin Fields, it's who knows what that's going to turn into. So I don't know. It wasn't necessarily to play keep away, but I just feel quarterback values are so insulated, especially 101 dudes. It's he's going to start 25 games at least over this next year and a half, barring injury. And I don't necessarily think he's terrible enough to where his value is going to crater. I don't think there's any chance Levis is ever going to get back on the field in front of him, because the dude can't see the pass rush at all.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just feel and someone actually did make the comment of oh, how are you going to take him over RB5? or 6, like meaning Hampton. And I was kind of like, well, let's see how many quarterbacks actually outscored the top 5 running backs from last year in this league. And it was 17 guys, 17 quarterbacks outscored running back 5. And think about who those running back, 1 through 5 are, Derrick Henry, Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley, and then was it Achan next? I don't remember exactly, but it's like, do you think Hampton's going to outscore? Would you put money on Hampton outscoring any of those guys this year? It's like, I wouldn't, like, unless I'm getting a large plus on it, plus 500 or something like that. So that was kind of the thought process. Like, I've had super flex teams that really need that quarterback, and like that's a shitty place to be for sure, because
it is. Yeah. 100%. I mean, me and Dad were talking about this, I think, before the draft was happening, and just looking at everyone's roster, and sorry if you mentioned this, but that no one really, there's not many teams that have 3 solid quarterbacks in this league. Like, I'm one of them, you're one of them, but like there's Dad is one of them as well, but a lot of people are like 2, maybe 3, or like that third is very iffy. And so it doesn't matter because one of the other comments was like, oh, you have Flacco, Allen, Fields, Love. It's like, well, yeah, keep stacking it up, and then that gives you so much flexibility to trade a Justin Fields, to trade a Jordan Love, trade whoever you want, really, of those guys besides maybe Allen, unless you get a haul. Like, it just gives you a lot of flexibility there. And I'd be shocked I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm going to put money on this time next year, by the time the next season ends, that Cam Ward is going to be considered more valuable than Amari and Hampton after year 1. And how we play Dynasty now is so much, it's week to week, month to month, year to year, where like I need guys to hit year 1 now, or else, they turn into Bryce Young. And once you fall that low, it's hard to get back up that high. I don't think Hampton's going to necessarily fall. I think Najee Harris is going to be a little bit of a thorn in his side for production. But I kind of go back to that draft where it was Bijan 101, and it wasn't a question. And then it was like, who's 102? Is it Bryce Young? Is it Anthony Richardson? Is it CJ Stroud? By the end of year 1, it was like, why didn't we take Stroud 101? You would go, now it's a little bit, maybe it's back to Bijan, but it's a lot closer. And I wouldn't be surprised in a lot of leagues, it's easier to get Bijan than it is to get CJ Stroud, just because of the scarcity of the position, right? We get 25 running backs in a draft every year. We get, 7 quarterbacks or whatever it is. So
yeah, and obviously there's a million ways to play it. Like you mentioned, it's like, well, I have Flacco on this roster also, so it's like, am I ever going to start Joe Flacco? It's like most likely not. Like, not over Fields, Love, Josh Allen, and Cam Ward if he looks halfway decent. But it's trade capital. It's like, you QB needy guys out there, shoot me a 2nd round pick and you can have Flacco, like it's not like, and honestly, I was lucky enough to be on the clock when the Flacco news came. So that's basically how that worked. You got him in the other startup as Mr. Irrelevant, and now he should be worth a 2nd round pick, basically. So,
I mean, yeah, just look at CJ Stroud's. Like, he had a good year in 2023. It wasn't amazing, but it was a good NFL year. It wasn't an amazing fantasy year. It was QB 10 in points per game, but like, he had a huge, a couple huge games, and then everything else was like, okay, yeah, like, but he got as high as the QB 2 in Dynasty. Like, that's how easy it is. Again, go back to the thing. I think we're going to hear about Genty's name, but we're going to hear about Stroud's name over and over, or Cam Ward's name. Actually, maybe not. No one really talks about Cam Ward. We talk about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, but when the season starts at least. So I don't know. I don't think it was a crazy pick. I was fine with either one. Dad, thoughts on that? Would you have gone Hampton or Cam Ward at the 102?
Yeah, I'm buying into, the quarterback thing for these super flex dynasties, because in another league, I've been on a team where I didn't have a quarterback, and things weren't working too well for me. So, and that's a rotten feeling to get in. And we'll see. I mean, the best possible outcome is Cam Ward is kind of a top 20 quarterback, first year. The worst is obviously some kind of injury or something like that. So
it looks like Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pull up Pete's comment here at the bottom, because I know, Mike, I think you had a similar situation. You definitely don't need to play quarterback in Superflex, but just even like bad quarterbacks, like usually who you're playing in your Superflex spot is, your wide receiver 5, your running back 5, something like that. And just the upside for even bad quarterbacks is like their floor is basically those guys, and their ceiling is 25 points a game, like even if you're playing Cam Ward, so
yeah,
I totally get it. A million ways to win, but
no, for sure. First round was pretty standard in my opinion, nothing too crazy. I mean, we had those trades and stuff like that. I definitely considered Tyler Warren at the 105, but went Travion. Loveland falling a little bit to the 110, and a 1.25 tight end premium. I don't know, pretty standard stuff here. Really throughout the first till middle of round 2 or whatever. We had a big trade, and this brought up a lot of conversation with the 207 basically being traded for a 26 first and a early third round pick. It's hard because all these names are all jacked up and stuff, but it was maybe if you guys remember, let me know, but someone traded for the 207. They traded a 26 first and maybe a 4th round pick, maybe a 26 4th, and then they got the 207 and then an early 3rd round pick in this draft. And a lot of people were like, holy crap, you just traded the 207 for a 26 first. Like, you don't do that type of thing, right? And yeah, like, am I saying I would do that? Probably not. I saw, and it was for Jaden Higgins. That's who went, right? It was I guess Brando took Jaden Higgins here.
yeah.
And so, yeah. And like, I saw Jaden Higgins go at the 202, 203 in a couple of my other drafts. And so my question is, if you did the same thing, you traded the 203 for a future first and got Jaden Higgins, would the reaction be as crazy? I mean, I think someone traded a 26 first for was it Luther Burden? I can't remember all the trades, or Jackson Dart or something like that. So I don't know, like, if you thought Jaden Higgins was meant to be a top 3 pick in the 2nd round or something, like, I don't think it's that crazy to necessarily do it. Plus you got, an early 3rd back and stuff like that. So I don't know. What'd you guys think about that trade? Too rich for your blood a little bit?
For me, yeah, but everybody's got their own ideas, and kind of goes back to when I used to ride motorcycles, and everybody would customize their motorcycle their way. And some people say, well, that doesn't look very good. And it's like, well, well, I like it and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. And, in fantasy football, I'll make that trade,
Yeah. And I think you contextualizing it that way, Mike, where it's like, if you viewed Higgins more as an early round 2 guy, is it that much of a stretch? Like, it's not, especially if you think your team is good enough to compete. Obviously, none of us know that yet. Like, coming out of the startup, everyone should think they have at least a shot, ideally. But we'll find out in about 7 months if that's even true, like once we're in December and I guess we'd be past the trade deadline. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if we have a trade deadline, but
no trade deadlines in these leagues. I again, like, you can argue, but Jaden Higgins is not worth the first. It's not that I don't necessarily like getting into player takes like that, but with these rookies, like, we just don't know. The guy was the 34th overall pick. He was the wide receiver 5 taken. He was taken ahead of Trey Harris, ahead of Luther Burden, right? Like, ahead of those guys that went before him. Like, you can't just say, oh, but he's no good, because as much as we can scout and look at guys and numbers and analytics, we just don't know, right? We just literally don't know. Like, maybe, what if I'm sure McConkey fell around this range last year, maybe in a few drafts. I'm not saying regularly, but he definitely fell at times to the 205 or 206 in last year's draft, because he was for sure like an early second, late first, and so I know he fell. What are you saying? If someone made this trade for McConkey, you're like, that's ridiculous, and now it's like, well, McConkey's worth 2+ firsts, right? Like, so I don't like to get into like player takes in that sense of like, oh, you shouldn't do it for Jaden Higgins, because Jaden Higgins could be really damn good. Texans think he will. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought again, would I have done it? Probably not. But if that's, we don't know what they maybe bargained, right? Like, maybe he tried to get him for a future second and really wanted. We don't know what he made.
I think Nico Collins was drafted in that area.
In what? In
like a round 2.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he was a round 3 pick in the NFL draft,
round
so maybe.
3, okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about the NFL draft?
Yeah, I'm talking about the NFL draft, I guess. So.
Yeah, he was round 3. So, but yeah, I mean, I tried to get back into the end of the second. I didn't have any other picks. So I was trying to trade future stuff, and even, I think at one point I might have done like offered 2 seconds. I can't remember, but I really wanted Tyler Shuck. I just don't think he should be falling to the 3rd round, kind of for what I said at the beginning of the show. So, not that I think he's going to be good, but I just think Tyler Shuck starting this week, I can trade him for a second, probably, or I can hold on to him and see what happens. So, Shador Sanders going. I mean, you guys, if there's anything in particular you guys want to talk about, Dad, I mean, I know you only had a couple late picks, but you got Noel and Woody Marks. You happy with those?
Yeah, I'm happy with them. And in another draft, which I told you about, I think I did pretty good on. I got Hampton, and I can't even remember now. Losing my mind.
Yeah, well, it warmed up today, so your brain's cooked a little bit. Oh, and by the way, your motorcycle did look like shit. No.
Yeah. No, there was always a lot of debate on, same thing with cars and.
No, but I think we have some interesting, like Mr. Seeley here, like decent amount of, early picks. You also, obviously, like, you flip some of them. Like, it'll be kind of interesting to see how it plays out. Like, I only had the 2 picks, middle of the 3rd round plus the 102. And yeah, like I'm kind of happy with the way it played out. Like, I think something to point out, Mike, which we've kind of talked about, the 3 of us, like, just throughout the week, just kind of off and on, is the Dylan Gabriel in the mid 4th round. It's funny because I saw the exact same thing. I think Shador in one of my other drafts, he went right near the end of the 2nd, and yeah, like Dylan Gabriel, he actually just got picked at the 405. So yeah, you just never know. I mean, like, not that I necessarily have like a strong opinion like Gabriel's better than Shador. They obviously went to the same team, but Gabriel went 2 rounds earlier and no one else touched Shador, so the NFL is telling us Gabriel's more valuable, so sometimes you got to throw your pre-draft opinions out to a certain extent, but it is like a pretty far fall for Shador,
but
obviously.
But at the same time, what we just talked about, like Xavier Restrepo is more valuable than Chimere Dike. Shador Sanders, in a dynasty sense, is probably more valuable than Dylan Gabriel, because probably neither of those guys are going to hit, but Shador Sanders is going to have more value in the sense of like we hear about his name every single day, just as simple as that. So I don't know. It's interesting. We got to take those into account. We have to take, whether it's right or wrong, like we just have to. Like the story behind Shador Sanders is a way better story than Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah,
like it just is. So
Shador is QB 32 on Keep Trade Cut currently. He's fallen 9 spots since the draft, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny that Russell Wilson's 3 spots behind him. It's like, really?
Oh, my.
Like,
jeez.
Russell Wilson's a buy right now. Like, he hasn't even been playing, like, that bad, Like, wasn't he, like, QB 12 last year or something? Or was that the year before?
No.
I'm not sure.
He was doing all right last year with Pittsburgh, and he missed a number of games. Remember, he had a calf issue or hamstring, something in that area. The bottom line was Shador, and these guys are all going to get a chance probably to start for one reason or another. So
yeah. And Mike, I think you brought this up maybe on a show, maybe us just talking, but these 101 or these high drafted quarterbacks, even if they don't keep their starting job after a couple of years or whatever, they stay in the league as backups. Obviously that's not what you want, but it's like, look at how many highly drafted guys get another
Trey
team.
Lance.
Yeah. I know he's still
Zach
home.
Wilson.
Mac Jones played some games and didn't look bad last year for the Jags, and now he's in San Francisco. It's like, uh-oh, he's going to outplay Purdy for his job. No, that's not what I'm saying, obviously. But, these guys stick around. I mean, look at Sam Darnold, like you never know. Like these guys get held onto by other teams, even if they don't keep their starting job, they get more chances than, the guys taking in the Shador Sanders 5th round guys, so.
I do think there is something to, once you get past, like, once you get into round 3, you're the amount of starters that aren't first round picks at the quarterback are very low. You have your exceptions in Cousins and Dak and Purdy and stuff, but I kind of believe in the idea of like, you kind of don't want Shador as your backup quarterback, right? In a lot of situations, because he's just, all the attention's going to be on him, and maybe it's going to create, like, you kind of want a guy like Dylan Gabriel that no one really cares about,
That's why
he's just in the background.
That's why that video of the Cleveland coaches and everything else after they picked him, they're all just sitting there like.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that it wasn't synced up properly.
Yeah, I heard that too, but I kind of half believe it. Just by drafting, Gabriel, and that they didn't want the guy.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. And says, "Hey, pick this guy."
Yeah, possibly. I think what's going to happen with either Gabriel or Shador is going to be like, one of you is going to win the QB3 spot or whatever it is, and the other one's going to basically go on IR with a phantom injury, so they can basically keep both of them, but not dedicate 4 roster spots.
That's for sure.
Yeah, so I think
injury, like a ghost is going to attack him.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what he means. I'm looking through everyone's draft, and it's so hard to say, to respond to Garlic Bread's question, because we all had so many different numbers of picks, and to really accurately, you really have to go back and see where these picks were taken in, relative to who these guys got in the startup, because that's the way we did it, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, Sealy, you got, how are we saying this? You're saying Pisley? What are you saying, Mike?
I think I said P. Sealy. I don't know if I'm saying. I don't know what I said.
Maybe the P is silent, so it's just Sealy.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say,
usually a P and S together are silent. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, he came out with Hampton, Hunter, McMillan, Scatabo, Ferguson, and, the third round receiver for Green Bay, and possibly the new goodness at running back in San Francisco. So it's easy to say that because he got the most guys, but I don't know. I mean, I would have to say, Mike, you only went in with one pick. Is that right?
Two. I had the 101 and 105.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, going in with just those two and getting, Henderson, Judkins, Golden, AJ Brown, and a future pick, that's really good, So not to boost your ego, because you're a bastard,
I am Jon Snow. I do like
that, but
okay. I do agree with Pisley now. Sealy, I guess I'll say now. He got good value in Scatteroo, in my opinion, in Ferguson, and in Savion Williams, in my opinion, and Jordan James, we'll see. I did think John got some good value with Besh, Devin Neal, and even Gabriel in the middle of the fourth. I like Brando, who did trade away his 26 second, but I like that he got Dart at good value and Shuck at good value, and Warren, really, if you think about it, and Higgins, I guess. He has 4 picks for all good values, in my opinion, So it is hard to say who had the best, because it was, I think you're going to see a little bit. Most people are going to have more picks overall, at least a few more. So, but yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of my pick, my draft, and just because of the start 12, I think it's a big thing, and I'm fascinated to see how it works with Sniper's team, who's really going all in on 4 or 5 guys. Jalen Hurts, Jamar Chase, Puka, Genti. He's going all in on those guys. But in a league where he's probably going to have to be starting, like he mentioned, or his co-manager mentioned, that he has Gabe Davis and Nick Chubb in the starting lineup, or whoever it was, right? So
yeah, Davis got cut too. So
Chubb's not on a team.
119 days to swap that out.
Gabe Davis is going to the Giants, reuniting with Dayball. So I think Jackson Dart. We were talking about. I know you guys are talking about Russell Wilson. I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Dart starting week 1. So
I do like Pete's draft. Getting Ibuka at the end. Williams at the end of the second round. Even the Denver receiver Bryant towards the end, kind of the middle-ish towards the end of the third round. And the Chargers' new tight end. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna start necessarily right away, but I like those dart throws for sure. Ollie Gordon, even and Giddens. I like what he did with his later picks for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sorry, not you, Garlic Bread. No, no.
I said I liked all his values.
No, I do too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, David had a pretty good drafting in Loveland, in blue. I mean, I like Brashard Smith a lot. We'll see about, Shador Sanders and what that means. So yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun, a lot of trades, and I love it. It's really a lot of fun when there's just a lot of action going on. I hope it stays that way, and But yeah, I want to do my. I want to brag about my roster now, but I mean, just looking at I was just looking at. It, I was like, I have a very in a start 12. Like I've filled my 12. You can see here, McCarthy, Bucky, Irving, Kamara, Waddle, DJ Moore, Andrews, Metcalf, Connor, Henderson, AJ Brown, Judkins, Stafford. That doesn't even include. I mean, it should be Drake May here, not Stafford, or Stafford over McCarthy, whatever you want to do there. But McCarthy, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, if he signs. Still got guys like Garendo, Aaron Jones, Matthew Golden, Cooper Kupp. So I'm Najee Harris. Pretty excited about this team. I'll say that for sure. I'm excited, and I am just I'm really excited to see how it works with Sniper's team, because in a start 8, in the start 9, in a 10 team, whatever, like that's what you do. What Sniper's doing is generally how you do. I don't even know if I would have given up Genty for all those pieces. Just because it's like I really just need 3-4 guys to just smash, and that's what he has: Hurts, Genty, Chase, and Nakua. And then but he's going to have to start some guys that maybe shouldn't be starting. So interesting for sure. One other take. Go ahead.
I just kind of had a thought. Like I was like, we're kind of making this podcast for 9 other people. I mean, I know it's probably a little more interesting than that, like to. Mm-hmm. Because we've talked about this, but it's just kind of funny to like think about, like we're just talking about one specific league and how the draft went. I'm enjoying it for sure because I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny. Like
yeah, I think people like to see, but is it not sharing? I'm like losing my mind right now. Let me see if I can reshare it. I'm trying to share the draft board again. Now, I think people like to see like how things turned out and stuff like that.
I mean, this is real life now. Like this isn't just another rookie mock where everyone like you don't have a team that you're actually like building. You're just kind of saying like where you would take guys.
Yeah, Pete doesn't have to pay his buy-in in 27 because he gave me a compliment. So. And he says he'll make sure to keep it active. Yeah.
Does that mean I have to cover him because I called you a bastard?
Yeah, we all do. We all do. One other thought I had, and just seeing the spending going on in Fab, why not trade into the 4th round? Trade a future 4th, or trade 100 Fab. See if you can get. If you're gonna I think I'm gonna spend 500 Fab on this free agent. Why not just try and get the pick for cheaper, So kind of thought about that in a lot of, seeing the spending across a lot of leagues, not even just in this league. It's like, go get the guy you're going to spend 500 Fab on and spend 100, 200.
It's happened a few times. Like usually about once a year, someone will do that where I think, Dad, I traded you 2 years ago some Fab for like your 3rd round pick. And that was, I think it was so you could get Jake Browning because you needed a quarterback, and you ended up winning here,
And it helped. It helped a lot.
Because it was like, here, I'll trade you enough to where you can outbid everybody. And it was late in the year too. So it's like
$25 or $50 or something. I don't know.
And I think someone immediately commented like, hey, I would have gave you 50. But that's kind of a good way to like not necessarily wrap this up, but just to kind of contextualize all the trading and everything. It's like, you never know until you ask, and I'm kind of bad about initiating trades. Not because I'm afraid of it, but I'm like, I kind of make the decision sometimes in my head where I'm like, oh, they won't go for this, No one's going to give me their first for my 2-7 or, anything like that. Like I need to be a little more proactive in that sense.
Yeah. Dan here says you think he did okay with Trey Harris, Royals, and Quinn Ewers. Yeah, I think especially I like the Royals pick at the 410. Even though he went 4th round to the Chiefs and stuff, like I think he's a good player, and good players are just going to find their way on the field. So to get him in the 410 is incredible value, in my opinion. And Ewers is kind of the same thing as Shedeur Sanders. Like, he got drafted in the 6th or 7th round. I saw people commenting as soon as he went on a live stream, what are the chances that Quinn Ewers is a starter if Tua gets hurt? Why aren't we saying that about the two quarterbacks the Raiders took in the 6th round? Because no one knows those guys. One of them, I think, is a Taysom Hill guy, but one of them played at like North Dakota State or something, and we don't care. Quinn Ewers was in the college football playoffs, and we've been hearing about his name. So, like, I think those guys have value. They're just going to have more value than other players, and they have a much easier path to increase in value. So, Danny, you can let me know. Didn't you get? Were you the one that traded? Was it Danny and Brando that traded? And Danny got a future first. I can't remember, but
I don't
guess we can
remember
go back and look.
exactly. But
Danny can let us know too.
Yeah, the next two comments by Dan and then Garlic Bread, where he's like, he felt left out not having a 1st round pick in our other league. I don't know. I guess this was the live one. Okay, so I don't know if we really talked about that much. The only rookie pick I have is the 411. Like I took all vets. Like I didn't even pick any guys. And I was feeling left out in round 20 or whatever the hell. I took 411. I was like, I might as well get one rookie pick right before it ends, like just because.
Yeah. Have a reason to show up.
Pete. Pull up Pete's comment at the bottom. That's funny. I totally get that.
Dude, people were like, and again, I keep bringing it up, but to me, it's just so important when it comes. It's like there's so much psychology behind Dynasty, in my opinion, and like to me, it like fascinates me. But why? Why was Bryce Young being offered? I had the same thing, not for one fab, but like here's a 3rd round pick for Bryce Young. Like no, why? Because he was too small, right? Because CJ Stroud was doing so well. These other reasons, like, that are kind of out of his control were affecting his dynasty value. Yeah, he had a bad first year, right? But that wouldn't have happened the same. That didn't happen to Trevor Lawrence. We gave him an excuse. Why? Because he's tall and has long hair, and his nickname is the Prince Who Was Promised.
Yeah,
and
it's the hair, dude. It's only you could have just stopped at the hair.
Seriously, it is. Like these things matter. Like they really do matter for dynasty. As stupid as it sounds, Cam Scatterbo. I mentioned this on what are people going to chant in the stadium when he runs over someone for a 1st down? Boo! You're going to hear everyone saying that in the stadium. That's going to just add to his aura. He's going to run over someone in preseason, a guy who's going to be working at McDonald's in a month, or I shouldn't say that because they could be very smart. But, and smart people work at McDonald's too. I'm just digging a hole. But, like it's just little things like that. But like Bryce Young was kind of like, he's small. Was he a product of being at Alabama and stuff like that? So like that affected him more than Trevor Lawrence because he's 6'5" with long hair, And so, the people had the personal vendetta against the guy. Like, so it's just those things matter. Another thing is like you look at keep trade cut. Cam Ward, as soon as he gets drafted for the Titans 101, he shoots up 5 spots in dynasty value. We knew Cam Ward was going 101 to the Titans for 2 months, but we need to see it. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, no, you're right. Like, we need to see it to believe it, right? And so people talking about, I've had people ask me about like Ashton Genty. My team's not ready for him. I'm a 2-3 year rebuild. Like, it's a bad team. And should I trade him? Yeah, you can explore it, but also you could probably get more. Don't sell low because you can get more for him when he starts balling out in September for the Raiders, so because we're gonna see it.
Yeah, but getting back to the vendetta thing, Sniper, since you talk shit about my 102 Cam Ward pick, I'm coming for you, man. We'll see who's the real Sniper. And then your kid, my van, I think is he a co-owner?
Yeah, I should have probably announced that to everyone, but yeah, he's the co-owner for Sniper.
Oh, now I really hate that team.
I think whenever you get messages from them, it shows up as Sniper. I don't know. I know trades obviously do, but
yeah.
All right. Seeley's here. See, so it's P. Seeley, so it's Paul Seeley. So it shouldn't be Seeley, right? That's how we should say it. if that's even the right way to say it. But
Yes.
yeah, I think if you just look at pure rookies, I mean, you probably had the best draft. And we were talking about, I don't know if you were here, Seeley, but obviously, like, you can't really get values in the top 3-4 picks, but like Scatterboo to me was a value. Ferguson, Savion, Williams. So I mean, even Tech potentially falling. So we're probably the most friendly league. We are probably the most friendly in that league, but it was funny. Oh, you're talking about, okay, yeah. Hoping Dart fell at the 204. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it was Dan that also got a 26 second. I don't know if he answered or not, but so yeah, you got to add that type of stuff to your haul. So
yeah. Overall, I'm really enjoying, how vocal everyone is, how active the trading is. Like, it's, and I think most of these offers that are flying around are, like, I wouldn't necessarily take. Sometimes there's one side I prefer over the other, but I think that it's good to see people valuing guys like essentially correctly, like, kind of a thing, like some leagues where it's just like, well, I would never give up 3 first-round picks for a single guy, and it's like, why not? Like, if you truly believe in that guy, like, I don't know. I like that people have conviction, I guess, is the best way to put it, even though I don't think I've made a single trade yet. So that's my bad.
Question for you guys, because we did the startup draft where we drafted kickers to represent picks, and this was before the NFL draft, and I know it's really hard. It's hard to know before the NFL draft where these picks should be aligned with veterans. It's one of the hardest things in Dynasty and stuff. Seeing the fact that the 101 was actually worth what I got for it, and seeing that the 207 was traded for a future, does it make you think like, I should probably maybe, like, it goes back to this idea where like picks have the increase in value, right? It was even on the clock in the Dynasty rookie draft, like, where now the picks have a name. The rookies have this allure around, like, oh my gosh, it's a rookie, it's something new. Does it make you think like, okay, maybe these guys should be bumped up? Maybe these picks should be bumped up a little bit more for that reason, or do you think
I don't know? I mean, everyone gets a little bit of rookie fever, like feeling left out because you don't have a first and all that kind of stuff, and even look at what happened on the waiver wire the first day it could run with rookies available, like, yeah, like I like that seems to hold true, and like I said, everyone's got their convictions. Do you remember where you took the Genty, or the 101? It was like the middle of round 2, right? Or no?
It was 206. I think I had the 6th pick, 5th or 6th pick, and it was my second round pick.
Yeah, and I think maybe AJ Brown was like 1 round back from that. He might have been towards the end of the 3rd. I think he was. I think he got picked right before I picked, which was at the 310. So, and that was the reason I bring him up, obviously, is because he was part of the package that you got for that pick. So yeah, no, I think it's kind of interesting. There is a good way on the app, but I don't think there is on the desktop version, which kind of pisses me off about Sleeper. Like, their app is so much more useful.
They started as an app only company or whatever.
It just kind of sucks. Like, you can look at the old drafts on your phone, or like even like resetting people's tab. Opening up the draft again by accident.
You can't even, like, it's been buggy as well. Like, I can't even pull up the previous league for a draft. I was trying to do that, trying to figure out where AJ Brown went actually a couple of days ago, and I still can't do it. So
wait, for what? For here?
To look at the startup draft. I have to go back to the old league essentially.
Yeah, you can do it on the app.
No, I'm saying I've been trying on the app the last couple of days, and it's just giving me a loading wheel.
Oh,
like it's not pulling it up.
I'm almost positive he went at 309 because I think I remember making the comment like,
"Oh, we can check here though."
Thank you for. Oh yeah, you can click on the player himself, but I think I thanked whoever picked that 309. Like, thank you for taking AJ Brown because I would have been tempted again.
Yeah, 309.
Yeah, because I was at 310 and I had taken him in the other league. So it made my decision easier. So
yeah. So Seeley was happy with the draft, or Paul. I guess I should call him Paul. Or maybe I shouldn't. Peter. Yeah, look for the short, fat QBs. Now, just you got to keep all that stuff in mind, though. Like the negative aura around players, and just it affects it. It really does. Like, just the fact that, like, Kyron Williams is another example. Why is Kyron Williams, keep saying it, no running back has been better than him over the last 2 years. But he's going to be, he's a 5th round pick, or he's small, blah, blah, blah. So, we are getting into the doldrums of the offseason. So we'll see how it goes. Pete's looking for a running back. So future channel stuff. We're always going to talk Dynasty. We do both on this channel. I know a lot of channels separate them and analytics kind of show to kind of like, have a separate redraft channel, do a Dynasty channel and stuff. But we kind of do both. I mean, redraft and Dynasty are so connected nowadays anyways. But yeah, we're going to continue talking Dynasty. We're going to do a lot of Dynasty startup stuff, price check stuff. Obviously we're going to move away from the rookies and things like that. And then June, July-ish, maybe we'll switch a little bit to we'll be doing redraft, mock drafts and rankings and all that fun stuff. But we're always going to do Dynasty stuff. So, and John sent you a trade, or he sent you a chat about a potential trade, Brian. So to get you in the trading game. But yeah, that was that was in our Zeus league. We had Bijan traded, which was fun to see, kind of for like a Ashton Genty haul a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this was fun. Probably be back. I don't know. I guess Sunday evening. I know it's Mother's Day in the States.
I have like 5 mothers in my immediate circle too.
Yeah. Yep. Caveman here saying he's on the clock at the 2:01 and thinking of taking Loveland in PPR 1 quarterback. I have Bowers, Mark Andrews. Should I trade back? Who else is there, Caveman? If you can quickly type that out. But that sounds like, is it a non-tight end premium, I assume? But it kind of sounds like you should be taking Loveland there.
You should.
No, you should be. I mean, Loveland, to me, in a non-tight end premium is the 13th highest guy. So that's exactly where I have him.
Wow, and Loveland's available at 201?
Yeah, I mean, if RJ Harvey's there or Golden is all I'm looking for. So no tight end premium, I think is what that meant to say. Who would you guys take? Golden or Loveland in a non-tight end premium?
Because he's got Bowers and Andrews already, so I mean, who's more likely to increase in value, right? Like if Loveland, like where's he already ranked? Probably tight end 5 or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he actually nailed it.
I think I might have Golden.
Kittle and Hawkinson are after him, which I don't agree with. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a tough one. Yeah, obviously, if you can move back, I think I'd be fine with that. But I'd lean Golden if I had to pick between those 2 guys.
I think I would too. I have them in the same tier in a non-tight end premium, and like you said, you have Bowers and Andrews. So, but if you know your league, if they really value tight ends and stuff like that, then maybe Loveland is the play there. So I think I would lean Golden as well. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to trade back more than 2-3 spots because then you're probably not going to get either one. But unless you're getting a haul there. So, I mean, who's the guy behind you? Here's what I would do. I look at the guy behind me. If he doesn't have any tight ends, I would say, hey, I'm taking Loveland unless you just want to trade out for me and give me a future second or third or whatever and just get something out of him and then take Golden. But yeah, I think I would lean Golden there, Caveman. But that is it. It's a little bit longer today, but it's good. Like I said, maybe back Sunday evening. We'll see. At least one of us. Well, probably just me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Any last comments?
Garlic bread. I will look at your comment and I don't know. I'll write you back maybe tomorrow. I'm so burned out from the week. I was camping in the desert all last weekend. Started a fucking gardening club and been in the sun like all week too. I just kind of want to shut my brain off for a little bit. Go play Minecraft with my daughter or something.
When's that game gonna die?
Never. Jack Black just revitalized it for another 10 years.
I heard that movie's, I don't know. I heard it wasn't great. They just like threw out a bunch of like buzzwords or something. I don't even know where I heard that. So don't take that. Don't take my opinion on that. He wants to trade me the 206 plus for Loveland. Yeah, what would that plus be? So you're trading back to the 206. So yeah, what are you getting there? I guess would be the thing. You know, Caveman, if you're not in our Discord, hop in and join it, and you can leave it the comment in there, and I'll definitely get to it because we're gonna sign off here. But it's free to join. I just left the link in the chat there. So, but yeah, we'll catch you guys soon. That's for sure. Appreciate everyone. See you all very soon.